Hello, friends and other people who happen to be subscribed to my newsletter, who I'm also going to call friends, because yo, what's up? You know a lot about me so far. As you can see, this is a very different type of newsletter. This is a video. I've never done a video before. And I have no idea really what I'm going to say, but I'd like to preface this with, I'm currently in my room. Welcome to my haven. And I live on a busy street, so you're probably going to hear cars go by. Deal with it. Live in an urban place. I also live in a co-op, so you might hear people walking up the stairs and stuff like that. And I might stop when I hear them because I get really nervous and I've got anxiety and yeah. Anyway, I guess a little bit of backstory as to why I am doing a video. Usually, so this is only my fifth newsletter. I set a goal for myself last month to just get a newsletter out every Sunday for a month. And I did that. So I can check that off. That's not my goal right now. My goal right now is to share a little bit more of a personal experience and be vulnerable, but that's also not the reason I'm doing this video. Typically, I would make an outline at the start of the week. I definitely am very type A, so I would have an idea of what I'm writing about and start to fill it out throughout the week and then cue it up on Saturday to go out today. But I hadn't made an outline. I had a hard week and I went to bed kind of early last night, at least for Saturday, and then I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of my housemate watching the movie Waking Life, which was pretty ironic. So I couldn't help but giggle, but then also be like, fuck. I was just woken up. And then I was just hit with this wave of anxiety because I had not done my newsletter. And I knew I hadn't, and it had stressed me out. But that stress was something that I had given to myself because I'm really the only one who is like really setting these expectations for me. Like, I know maybe some of you look forward to hearing from me every week, but most of you don't give a fuck. So yeah, now you know kind of why I'm doing this video. As I mentioned, I don't really know what I'm going to say, but I do want to talk about fears. I certainly have a lot of them. You might have a lot of them. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of my fears and what I've been doing to either manage them or kind of face them head on. The first fear is fear of failure, which goes hand in hand with the creation of this newsletter. I started the Upside because I wanted a place kind of away from all the shit of the world coming to an end. There was just way too much about the thing that will not be named at all in this newsletter. And yeah, I wanted to share good things. And I realized as I started making this that that's not really what this is. I'm sharing my personal journey and it's not all good, but I don't want to necessarily focus on the bad, but I want to bring to light the bad so that other people, maybe you, feel a little bit less alone in the world. Even though I have 12 housemates, I often feel very lonely. And I think my fear of failure really comes from just the high expectations that I have for myself. I feel like I have a huge responsibility to do something with my life, because who knows how long it will be. And I worry that once I communicate those expectations or share my intention for doing something, if it kind of goes a different way, then I failed. But a thing that's been helping me a bit with this fear is the fact that I exist. Like, you have, I mean, maybe you do have an idea. I don't have an idea of like how many random things had to come together for me to be born. It's just all chance, and you as well. Like, you might not have ever been born, but you were, and we're here, and that is a fucking success, if I do say so myself. Our existence is an anomaly, in a way. I was watching this Melody Sheep series called Life Beyond, about the creation of the universe, and it's so insane that we exist, and that we might even be the like first real intelligent humans to exist, and there might be more worlds and more people, alien creatures created after us, but we might be, the Oregon Trail homies, the first settlers, the ones that people billions of years ago or billions of years from now will talk about as like the ones who started it all. And that's pretty fucking cool. So I just remind myself of that whenever I think about success and failure, and expectations. The second fear I struggle with is fear of being misunderstood. I know in my heart that I have good intentions, and everything I do comes from a place of love and wanting to connect with people and wanting to provide some form of support. And I worry that sometimes, just based on the way that I come across or things I say, people might mistake them for other intentions. And I think that we do this a lot with each other. Just, if somebody does something that irks us and we automatically assume that they're out to get us, or they are worried about themselves and nobody else. Maybe they're even a narcissist. But I think deep down, even the worst of us have good intentions. And maybe our intentions aren't aligned with other people's, but they're inherently good. Somebody's going to the bathroom right now. Anyway, the third fear that I struggle with, probably the biggest one, is fear of death. As I mentioned in my last newsletter, I've, met this fear quite a few times. Every time I, get on my motorcycle and go out and ride somewhere, I'm confronting that fear. I know that I'm putting myself in a situation that makes me more vulnerable to death, but, who knows if I go outside and I get hit by a car just walking across the street to go get a LaCroix. But a few years ago, I was feeling pretty stuck, and I'd written my own obituary, and after did DMT for the first and only time. And in that experience, I experienced death. As soon as the drug started coursing through my body, it made me black out and made my body spiral in this weird, warped way that I could only assume was me dying. And I, ended up in this really weird, dank bathroom filled with replicas of my body sublimating into this drain in the center of the bathroom. And people were whispering about how I had killed myself. A moment later, I started to become lucid again and was suddenly hit with this wave of euphoria, like, shit, I'm not dead. I'm alive. And I think about this moment a lot. It made me super grateful to be alive, but I think in being, this grateful to be alive and living every day like it might be my last, it's actually made me a little bit more fearful of death, because I don't want to die. And as I build my community and as we age, I'm faced with people around me dying more and more. And that's not going to go away. That's just going to keep happening. And so I'm really trying to confront that. I guess I don't really have anything to share with how I've been managing this. I don't know. I'm sure everybody has their ways, but meditation has been pretty helpful for me. I cannot sit for long periods of time. I get very bored. The idea of like a vipassana or whatever the fuck it's called sounds like hell to me. I do 10 minutes of meditation every morning with the Calm app. I really like, I forget her name, but the woman who narrates the Calm meditations, I enjoy her a bit more than Headspace and other apps I've tried. And I just really appreciate being able to have that focus on my breathing and on my body and pinpoint where my anxiety is. I'm realizing this might take this video is getting long, and I don't want it to be. I don't want to bore you, so I'm gonna hurry up. The last fear that I have is fear of being alone, or never finding that love of my life. For most of my 20s, I was in a very committed, loving relationship and thought that was it. I would talk to friends who hadn't yet found their people, and I would feel kind of sorry for them. I'm like, well, I've got my future baby daddy. And then a few years ago that ended. And I was confronted with this idea that I might actually be alone, and I might never find somebody like that again. And it's unsettling sometimes, but it's also given me so much more of an appreciation for my space and being able to be a little bit selfish and being able to create when I want to create and not worrying about taking care of other people. I couldn't even imagine, having a child right now. My mom had 3 kids by the time she was 24 or something like that. That shit's crazy. I can barely take care of myself. Well, no, I take care of myself pretty well. But yeah, those are my fears. And I honestly, I feel better just sharing them with you in this moment. And I would encourage you to also consider what are your fears and maybe share them with somebody else. In fact, you can share them with me. I'm gonna leave some sort of way for you to do that. You can also just, shout them at me, respond to this email. That's totally a thing I'd love for you to do. I really, I guess another one of my fears is screaming into a void and people not, really resonating with or responding to my outreach. So it would mean a lot to me if you would respond in some way. It could even be just liking this video or unlike this video. If you fucking hate this, thumbs this down so I know to never do this again. Or do a subscribe thing. I've seen YouTube videos, usually people are like, do that, look at that little pop-up, da da da. I'm not gonna do that. I don't have editing software right now, and it's Sunday afternoon now, and I need to get this the fuck out, so I'm not gonna do anything fancy. This is all I got. Thank you for being on this weird fucking journey with me. I hope that you have a really lovely rest of your Sunday, and I will see you again soon.